Okay, would you be willing to have your genes edited? You know, this is a very interesting and germane topic because this is what's actually happening now. Some of you guys are familiar with a class of drugs called PCSK9 inhibitors, and these are drugs that are involved in cholesterol clearance, or genes that are involved in cholesterol clearance. And the drugs, you know, one of them is called Repatha, have been shown to dramatically lower your cholesterol to very, very low levels, you know, almost to none in some cases. And this is controlled by a particular gene, and they now have at least they're doing phase 1 human trials and looking at knocking that gene out, you know, using, I think, an RNA mechanism in a lipid nanoparticle to knock that gene out, sort of a gene therapy, if you will. And what they're seeing is, you know, they're hoping is that it'll lower cholesterol and you'll be able to avoid heart disease. Now, I don't know who the volunteers are. You know, you got to think about who would sign up for that. But they've done, apparently, this is an article on this, and they had 10 people go through this phase 1 test, and one of them died of a heart attack, and the other one had a heart attack. And so, of course, they say it's unrelated to the genetic gene editing they've done, which is, you know, who knows? Maybe, maybe not. But you know, I think about the potentials for problem here are enormous, as you guys know. And, you know, the question I would have is, you know, so if you do, you know, let's say it's successful and it works great and there's no side effects and everybody's great. Of course, you won't know that for, gosh, 20, 30, 40 years, perhaps, who knows. But let's just say, assuming it's safe and effective, or at least, you know, anyway. And so you're no longer required to take these other drugs, these statin drugs. Well, they're off patent, so they don't make much money off of them. They still make a decent amount of money. I think they're still, you know, even off patent, I think it's in the hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars a year. But there is, you know, some real concern around this stuff. You know, should we just ban that technology altogether? You know, there's some instances like something like Huntington's disease, you know, Huntington's chorea, where, you know, this is a universally fatal disease. You know, usually if you have the gene, you're going to die. You know, usually the onset of illness is somewhere kind of midlife 40s, 50s, and then you often rapidly die after that. Interestingly, I'll tell you one thing, I met one person with Huntington's that is on carnivore and so far has managed to not have any symptoms, which is kind of cool. That's the one I forgot about that, but I was talking about this reminds me of that. And so, again, we're entering a new age, the age of modifying our own genetics. And I personally am not interested. You know, I don't have the desire to that. I'm too concerned about the potential negative effects. But let me know what you guys think. I'm interested. Would you be willing to have your genes edited for whatever reason? Maybe you can think of a reason why you do it. But I mean, again, it's just like, can you guarantee me all good results and no negative results? I think that's where the problem is, because I think if we knew 100% guarantee it was going to make us better and there were no chances for side effects, some people still wouldn't do it, to be honest. And I don't know that I would, but I mean, but at least in that situation, you can make a better argument. But, you know, when you have this, well, we don't know what the effects are, you know. And again, if it's long-term effects, let's say, well, you could get cancer in 20 years. Well, if you don't do it, you're going to die in 6 months. That's a different scenario. So again, there's a lot of nuance to this. But I want to see what the general impression is about this, because this is something that's our kids are going to grow up with this. This is going to be the reality for them. We're going to go in there and maybe it'll be like, you know, well, you can see that, you know, you're editing little kids. You know, I want my kid to be 6'5" instead of 5'7", or, you know, they're monkeying with these genes. These are things that are real, I think are going to be realities that we're going to have to deal with. And I'm just interested in what people's thoughts are. All right, guys, we'll talk to you soon. You guys take care. Bye-bye.